Ever found yourself holding a bolt but no nut to secure it? This is a common conundrum that many of us have faced at least once in our DIY journeys. You're in the middle of assembling a bookshelf or fixing a bicycle and suddenly you realize you have a bolt in your hand, but the nut that should accompany it is nowhere to be found. Maybe it fell and rolled into an unreachable corner, or perhaps it was missing from the package to begin with. Regardless of how you ended up in this situation, you're now left with a bolt that's all dressed up with nowhere to go. But before you throw in the towel, let's consider this. Are there alternative methods to secure a bolt without a nut? Can we turn this problem into an opportunity for a creative solution? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. So, what can one do when they find themselves in such a predicament? Stick around to find out. The good news is, there are several ways to go about this. We're not just limited to the conventional bolt and nut combo when it comes to securing objects together. There are some clever alternatives that can get the job done just as effectively, if not more so. First, let's talk about lock washers. These little metallic rings, often split or toothed, can be a real lifesaver. They work by applying a constant tension between the bolt head and the object being secured. This tension prevents the bolt from loosening due to vibrations or any rotational force. Lock washers are particularly useful when you're dealing with machinery or any equipment that experiences a lot of movement. Next up, consider cotter pins. These split pins are bent into a loop after being threaded through the hole of the bolt, creating a kind of makeshift lock. The cotter pin is a solid option when the bolt is going through a hole that's been pre-drilled. It's an old-school method, but it stood the test of time for a reason. It's simple, effective, and requires minimal tools. Finally, there's the magic of thread locking fluid. This is a special adhesive that's applied to the threads of the bolt before it's screwed into place. Once it dries, it forms a tight bond that can resist loosening. Thread locking fluid is a great choice for situations where you need a semi-permanent solution. It's also useful when the bolt needs to withstand extreme temperature changes or exposure to chemicals. In all these methods, you'll need to have the right tools and materials at hand. For lock washers and cotter pins, you'll need the appropriately sized washer or pin for your bolt. For thread locking fluid, you'll need to have the fluid itself and a way to apply it. These methods can all be effective, but they do require some specific materials and tools. It's all about choosing the right solution for your particular situation. So next time you find yourself in a bolt without a nut predicament, remember, you've got options. But what if you don't have those materials on hand? There's a DIY solution for that too. Here's the thing, securing a bolt without a nut is not as challenging as it may seem. All it takes is a piece of hard plastic or metal, a drill, and a dash of patience. Let's dive right in. First, you'll need to measure the diameter of your bolt. This is important because it determines the size of the hole you need to drill into your material. Now grab your drill and make a hole in the plastic or metal piece. Don't rush this step, precision is key here. Once the hole is drilled, it's time to screw the bolt into it. Make sure to rotate the bolt clockwise to secure it into the hole. Remember, the bolt needs to fit snugly, not too tight and not too loose. And there you have it, a bolt secured without a nut. To quickly recap, there are various ways to secure a bolt without a nut. We've explored these methods in our journey today, from employing a toggle bolt to using a wing grip and even creating a makeshift nut out of epoxy resin. Each of these solutions has its own merits, but the key takeaway is that a little creativity can go a long way. We've also delved into a do-it-yourself solution, taking a piece of hardwood, drilling a hole, and threading it to fit our bolt. This method might take a bit more elbow grease, but it showcases the true spirit of DIY, making things work with the resources at hand. In all these, we've highlighted the importance of having a backup plan, because when you're knee-deep in a DIY project, the unexpected is the norm. It's about being prepared, being resourceful, and most importantly, being creative. Remember, a DIY enthusiast is never truly stuck, there's always a workaround. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more DIY tips and tricks.